The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame are proud to recognize the MAAC Honor Roll Class of 2018. During their time as basketball student athletes, coaches, and administrators, these 22 individuals exemplified leadership, responsibility, and commitment, making their dreams and goals a reality. The college experience is like none other and helps shape who a person becomes. For student athletes and coaches alike, this experience is even more significant. They have the drive and desire to achieve the highest level of success and push oneself and teammates through what is thought possible.
My fondness in Manhattan is just my fellow teammates, coaching staff, fellow students. I had probably the four belly-aching, laughing years of my life at Manhattan College, the most of all, and of course my good education. Well, going to Ann Arbor was, was a real test for us, especially the weather. We got out there, there was like 8 feet of snow everywhere. But they had a great team. We went out there, we pulled an upset, and it was a great idea at the time to go in there as the underdog and walk away with the win. I wanted to congratulate everybody from all of the MAAC schools today that are here with me, being honored, and especially my cohort here at Manhattan. So I just want to say to everyone, congratulations today.
Being a student athlete at Monmouth, there's so many things that you could look back on. And I remember one of our coaches at a time, during a really tough double overtime loss, drew the court on the chalkboard and said, you know, believe it or not, ladies, but the thing that you remember most about this whole experience will happen outside those lines. The fastest lesson that I think I learned and many of us learned is when you arrive here as a young player, you quickly realize just how good everybody is. The level of play, that everyone came from somewhere as all something at their high school, and you quickly learn that in order to either earn a spot or keep a spot, it requires just a ton of hard work and effort. It's hours in the gym, it's lots of off-season work, and strength and conditioning. And that lesson as an athlete to say, hey, I wanna keep my spot, I wanna earn my spot, and I've got to really work for it is certainly something that for me I took away.
How did I choose to play for Iona? Was basketball my primary sport? Yes, I think growing up in Lithuania, every kid wants to be a basketball player. And Lithuania is one of the few countries that basketball is #1 sport. And like I said, you grow up wanting to play basketball. And at the time when I was around 18 years old, it was a transition time for Lithuania, going from Soviet Union into independent Lithuania, so we had some issues in transition, and I was looking to do something and maybe combine academics with sport, and college basketball was the perfect option for me.
So how I chose basketball was that when I was 9 years old, I went to summer camp in Pittsburgh with my grandma for 2 weeks. She worked at a YMCA, and they had a basketball camp that was going on at the same time, and she kind of just threw me in it to see what would happen, and I ended up loving it and had a little bit of natural talent. So I came home, told my dad I wanted a basketball hoop, and he went out immediately and bought it, and the rest is kind of history. Basketball's always been my main sport. I've always loved it and had a passion for it, and it's opened a lot of really amazing opportunities for me throughout my life. I think honestly, just like every day after practice, we've had a hard practice, and just kind of like seeing your teammates struggling the same way you're struggling, and realizing and bonding that you're all going through the same experience and just trying to make it together, going on road trips, just spending all this quality time together, laughing, making jokes, just having fun together. So I think just the day in and day out of every day was great.
Start with the most fondness, it's the people, definitely the people that were here surrounding the classes, the friends, the coaches, the teammates. That's definitely the #1 thing that I think about when I go back. The other thing is I would not have had a career if I didn't come to Canisius. I often say when I'm speaking with friends and people, Canisius were true to their word when they recruited me, because I was very, very raw, and they said, we will play you, and you'll give us 2 years, we'll give you 2 years and you'll give us 2 years. And they stuck to their word, and they played me 30 minutes a game minimum from the day one regardless. So I'll never forget that you know, they were true to what they said when they recruited me.
It was one of those moments that I remember and everybody else does. Everybody remembers their birthday, but one birthday that I always remember is my 22nd birthday because there was 10,000 people there chanting happy birthday to me. At 21 points on my 22nd birthday in 22 minutes, I missed the last free throw because everybody was chanting happy birthday to me. But just imagine if I did make that shot. It would have been 22 right across the board. But it was a great night for me. It represented my hard work and my dedication to my school. As I mentioned before, I was a lone senior. I stayed here for that particular reason, and it was to win a ring and represent the MAAC in the NCAA tournament. And that moment happened, and I only had one last chance to do it. So not only was it great for me individually, but it was great for my school because it started off a great, great legacy that we all left here at Siena. And then after that, they won 2 more. But it started with me.
That's probably one area I think when I first left school, those relationships were much closer, but they're still very near and dear to my heart now. As a matter of fact, most of the ladies that I played with while I was here at Rider, I got married almost a week or 2 weeks after I graduated, and I would say most, if not all of them, attended my wedding. And that has always kind of stuck in my mind, you know, that we were such a team and we felt so close, and throughout the important times that we had here, we were together, but then important times in life, we were also together as well.
That year just went by crazy because I thought we came back after my first year, my junior year at Niagara. We had a big man, Kevin Jobity, and I think he was an NBA type player, honestly. And I remember in the weight room, he got hurt. And we brought in a new coach at that time, and I remember he took us in the office, me and the point guard, Jeremiah, and he told us, you know, the team is gonna go as you go. And I just think at that moment, it became real to me where I had to put the responsibility on the shoulders of me and Jeremiah to kind of lead the team. And I think that kind of turned the way I thought about it. We sped up the game, and you know, and ever since then, it was just off and running. And every time we beat Canisius, it was always great for us. I remember going around the school, they'd say, you know what, I don't care if you lose every game, but just beat Canisius. You know, Canisius was our rival, so we had to beat them. And anytime we had a chance to beat Siena, so I think some of them games was really high impact games.
Through their experiences as student athletes, coaches, and administrators, these individuals have embraced the life lessons they learned at their schools, which have helped them in life. This year's Honor Roll recipients embrace these practices and use them in everything they do today.
I think it's very, very difficult, for me anyway, to separate the emotion of winning from being the stoical administrator. You know, I think I probably have gotten better at it over the years, but I would be lying if I didn't tell you that anytime we get a great win and have those great moments, that little kid in me is still there yet. And I might not show it visibly, but inside I'm doing the Irish jig.
Well, basketball was really a tremendous part of my life, coming from Jersey City, inner city kid, way back in early 60s. It's kind of tough time. There's a lot of things going on in society, social unrest and things of that nature. And it was an interesting time, and basketball was sort of the thing that kept me grounded and kept me motivated to go forward, I guess. If it wasn't for basketball, I don't know what would have happened to me. Well, it's certainly a whole different game on the college level and most certainly on the professional level. The college level, the game is a lot faster, it's a lot different. The fundamentals of basketball have changed dramatically. Some of the things that I see in basketball now, Coach Kennedy, if he had hair, probably would have pulled it out then.
My favorite memory of playing basketball at Marist College was my junior year when we were preseason ranked 6th and clearly one of the underdogs. Had a phenomenal season. It was the second season that Coach Brian Georges had coached Marist. And we ended up winning the MAAC championship, kind of surprisingly, and got to go to Arizona and play in the NCAA tournament. I think that is kind of the dream of every college athlete, to be able to say that they played in the NCAA tournament. And that was just my most memorable moment at Marist College, playing basketball. My family kind of has a special story with Marist College. My mom and dad both went to Marist. My dad played football at Marist College. My mom was local to Poughkeepsie and chose to go to Marist College. And they met there and got married. And then, you know, when I was being recruited to play basketball, I had several full scholarship offers, but decided to stay local. Went to Marist College, and then both my sisters kind of followed in my footsteps and ended up graduating from Marist College as well. So all 5 of my immediate family members are from Marist, and that's kind of a special story about our relationship with the college.
September of 1987, a little skinnier, a little more hair, and you know, played and had a wonderful time and great experiences. Graduate in May of '91 and September of '91, I'm on the road recruiting and coaching guys I just played with for the last 3 years, and then 6 years later get the head job, and 28 years old, youngest head coach in the country, and 3 years later shaking Mike Krzyzewski's hand and playing Duke in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So I hadn't grown up yet, and what a wonderful experience. Balance of consistency and intensity, and what I mean by that is, you know, the intensity is the fun moments, the games, you know, the shot at the end, the celebration with your teammates, celebrating victory. There are the great moments, the intense moments, but to be able to play at the Division I level, it's the consistency, day in and day out, showing up to work, showing up to practice, giving your effort every day allows you to have success, to enjoy those intensity moments, the game-winning moments, the game-winning shots, and as I mentioned, celebrating victory with your teammates.
I have to say my father was my biggest mentor, teacher. Since the time I played basketball I started in 5th grade. I tried out for the team and didn't make it in my little white Chuck tees, and he kind of really encouraged me to pursue that. I was staying after practice. When the other kids had gone home, I didn't make the team, and I would stay and watch them and then stay and play with the coach or practice with the coach. He made me a little makeshift basketball court out back in the grass. Actually, we didn't have a lot of money, so it was in grass, and kind of pounded that grass all down so it was nice and flat. And he was out there every day after work with me, practicing and encouraging me, and I think he's probably my biggest mentor.
I grew up playing basketball, so basketball was always part of my life. My mother played basketball, and she just always instilled a lot of the skills, and she would be out there practicing with us, and she never missed a game. And she was the biggest supporter of myself and my younger sister, who played basketball as well. The moments that I look back with the most fondness is just being a part of a larger community of Iona, and then to have my basketball family being so far away. When you're only 18 years old, it's tough to leave home, but my coaches were like parents there. My teammates were like my sisters, and I have lifelong friends for it now.
So I chose basketball as an outlet from work. And my father had a family business, and I didn't necessarily want to be working at 12 years old. So, but he did. And so I would play basketball and go to the park. There was no AAU or strength and conditioning coaches and so forth. So we had to do it on our own. So as I chose basketball as an outlet, as a young man, I started believing in myself, and then others started believing in me as well. And so then when you got to the competitive level, I started doing pretty good. And so basketball kind of chose me, and it really, pulled me in. And the game is so wonderful that I enjoyed it. And so it wasn't work for me, and it wasn't something that, I said I was going to be in the NBA. I just loved doing it. So it was a natural progression.
The most most memorable coaches when I think of my basketball career were really my parents and the support that they showed me, and their support not only through high school and through my love of the game, but also through college. When I knew basketball was my sport, and they let me really navigate the love that I found for the sport. They really supported me. My mom, over the summer, because she was a great basketball coach, she not only would help me, but she also got me into a lot of great basketball camps with some great players. And I was really able to be seen in that arena. And then my dad also helped me not only with my low post moves, but also he helped me with managing the recruiting side of things and talking to college coaches. And also he created a really cool VHS tape for me with the highlight reels, and he put it to music, which I don't think was done before. So I was told it was one of the best that they've ever seen come through Niagara. And I've had a lot of college coaches comment on that. So I think when I think of the lessons they taught me about finding your passion and pursuing that, and if you want to be successful, you have to give it 100%. I think about the lessons that my parents taught me and how invaluable that is.
The bonds and lasting friendships of teammates and coaches working together as one unit for a common goal can be the most fulfilling and can last a lifetime. Oftentimes, these relationships are what is remembered beyond their final game on the court.
I still keep in touch with my roommate for 3.5 years, Marshall Greer. He lives in Vegas. Eddie Titus, who was on my team for 4 years, he lives in Western Pennsylvania. Freddie Hill, Coach Hill from Seton Hall, and he's the one that was instrumental in getting me here to Rider. I still talk to him. I consider him a good friend of mine. Those relationships, we talk to each other and see how our families have grown. We talk about Rider, our moments that we had, our friendships with other people. Just talked to Eddie Horowitz, he was on campus here, but he's a big backer for us with basketball. So it's great to talk, bring up old times, because we're not getting any younger.
It was interesting because there was like two phases, Division II phase and Division I phase. And I think the early 80s, we took over a group that was pretty good but needed some direction. And the early 80s, to make it to the AIAW, the National AIAW tournament, was amazing. And then the following year, when NCAA was offering an opportunity to make it to the quarterfinals and one game away from the Final Four, was unbelievable. We still, I was just talking to one of our ex-players, Cara Hahn, who also wanted to coach, about that game. And she blamed herself for missing a couple free throws. I said, you gotta be kidding me, all the rebounds and free throws you made to keep us in the game. But we had such a special group with that. The families, they just enjoyed the game. They didn't meddle. And to get to the national scene with Little Canisius, it was just amazing.
We did a lot of fun things. We won a lot of games. My junior and senior year, we were regular season MAAC champs. But we went on a foreign trip right before my senior year, and that still stands out to me because we went to Italy, and our head coach, Gina Castelli, was from Italy, so she had family members come and support us in our 3 games. And it was really cool just to be 10 days with the teammates we had, the coaching staff, and her family there, and she saw where her parents grew up, and she kind of shared all her just childhood memories, and so it was cool just to experience that with my team.
One of the most important lessons I learned as a student athlete was how to work together, how to be part of a team, and how to balance life, balance sports, balance family was really important. Looking back, I would say that one of the greatest moments was winning the MAAC championship my sophomore year. Being successful, finishing in the top of the conference every year, and just having a team and friends and sisters like no other.
It's funny, like the thing that I think about the most from my college basketball experience is probably my last game where we lost. Which is a bad thing and something that keeps me up at night still, but I think it also kind of goes to how much I cared and how much we all cared, and I think very rarely do you get to experience something like that in life. where you're all like really working together towards a common goal. And even though it didn't work out, it's still something that like left an indelible mark on me.
My co-captain, Sue Porter, she calls us, she said, everybody come together. So we come together and she's like, Felicia, push me. So I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah, push me. So I'm like, all right. So I give her a push and I push her. Right in return, she pushes me back. So everybody begins to laugh and she says to us, she was like, that's what Sienna did to us the whole season. They pushed us. Well, now it's time for us to push back. So if you guys are ready to fight, let's go out there and kick some butt. So at that moment, like everybody was sitting there surprised because Sue's so timid and she never really like gets real excited and shows any emotion. So from that moment, I just was like, we're winning this. It's no way she could give this speech this last time and we not win. So I just felt it in my spirit that we were gonna win. We were also doubted. We weren't expected. We weren't favored. People told us that we could not win three out of the 4 years. I must say, by the end of that game, I felt like that year was wrapped up in that one day. We did it. We won 3 out of the 4 years. We beat Sienna. We're MAAC championships, and I finally got MVP. So it was very special to me.
Congratulations to the MAAC Honor Roll Class of 2018.